Welcome back to Goal or No Goal 90. Matchweek 37 of the 2025-26 Premier League season is here, and we are getting closer to the dramatic final week. Arsenal are leading the title race, but Manchester City are still breathing down their neck. The European spots are still up for grabs, and the relegation battle is heating up at the bottom. Today I'm bringing you my bold predictions for all 10 Matchweek 37 fixtures. Some safe ones, some very risky ones. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Let's jump straight into it. First up, we have Aston Villa versus Liverpool. This promises to be one of the most exciting matches of Match Week 37. Aston Villa come into this game after a dramatic 2-2 draw against Burnley. They showed real attacking quality going forward, but their defence looked vulnerable whenever Burnley increased the pressure. Still, Villa Park remains a tough venue for any opponent, and the home crowd will give them belief that they can challenge Liverpool. Liverpool, on the other hand, earned a competitive 1-1 draw against Chelsea. While they dropped 2 points, the Reds showed plenty of intensity, creativity, and dangerous attacking movement. Their high pressing remains one of the best in the league, and they always carry a threat on the counter-attack away from home. Tactically, Villa will likely look to attack quickly down the wings and use their physicality in midfield. Liverpool will aim to dominate possession and create overloads in attacking areas. The midfield battle could be decisive. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. Manchester United come into this match after a goalless 0-0 draw against Sunderland. Although they lacked sharpness in attack, their defensive organisation looked much improved. At Old Trafford, United usually play with greater confidence and intensity in front of their fans. Nottingham Forest drew 1-1 with Newcastle United in their previous game. They defended bravely at times, but still allowed too many dangerous chances. Away from home, Forest often struggle when opponents control possession for long periods. Tactically, Manchester United will look to dominate the ball, stretch Forest's defence with quick passing combinations, and use their attacking width. Forest are likely to sit deep and attempt to counter through fast transitions. I'm expecting an entertaining 2-2 draw. Next up, Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Brentford come into this match after a tough 3-0 defeat against Manchester City. However, they return to the G-Tech Community Stadium, where they are usually far more aggressive and dangerous in attack. Their high-pressing style and physical approach often cause problems for visiting sides. Crystal Palace drew 2-2 with Everton last weekend. They showed good attacking quality, but looked vulnerable defensively, particularly when defending crosses and quick transitions. Tactically, Brentford will likely press high up the pitch and attack directly with pace and intensity. Palace will probably rely on quick counter-attacks and the pace of their forwards. Defensive discipline could be the key factor here. I'm going with a 3-1 victory for Brentford. Next up, we have Leeds United versus Brighton. This could be a fast-paced and highly entertaining game. Leeds United have shown flashes of quality this season, but are still searching for consistency. At Elland Road, they play with high energy and intensity, pressing aggressively. However, this can leave defensive spaces open for stronger attacking teams to exploit. Brighton come into this match after an impressive 3-0 victory against Wolves. Their attacking movement was sharp, and they controlled the game with confident, quick possession football. Brighton look very dangerous when they transition quickly. Tactically, Leeds will likely press high and try to force mistakes. Brighton will look to control possession and exploit the spaces left behind Leeds' aggressive press. The midfield battle and defensive transitions will be crucial. I'm predicting a 3-2 win for Leeds. Wolves versus Fulham. Wolves come into this game after a disappointing 3-0 defeat to Brighton. They looked defensively vulnerable throughout and struggled to cope with Brighton's quick passing and movement. At Molineux, Wolves usually show more fight and will be eager to respond. Fulham suffered a narrow 0-1 defeat against Bournemouth in their last match. Although they lost, they had their moments in attack and will be determined to bounce back quickly on the road. Tactically, Wolves are likely to sit compact, defend deep, and look to counter through the wings. Fulham will probably try to dominate possession and exploit the defensive gaps Wolves have shown recently. I'm calling this a 1-1 draw. Everton versus Sunderland. Everton come into this game after a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace. They showed determination going forward, but still looked vulnerable defensively, especially against quick attacks. At home, Everton usually play with much greater intensity and physicality. Sunderland earned a disciplined 0-0 draw against Manchester United last time out. They stayed compact and well-organised defensively, frustrating United for long periods. However, they struggled to create clear goal-scoring chances and lacked creativity in the final third. Tactically, Everton will likely look to dominate possession, push Sunderland back, and create chances through crosses and set pieces. Sunderland are expected to sit compact and look for opportunities on the counter-attack. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Everton. Next up, Newcastle United versus West Ham United. This should be a competitive and physical encounter. Newcastle United come into this match after a frustrating 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. While they controlled large parts of the game, they struggled to convert their chances into goals. At St James's Park, Newcastle are usually a completely different side, playing with high intensity, pressing aggressively from the front, and backed by a passionate home crowd. West Ham United, on the other hand, suffered a narrow 0-1 defeat to Arsenal last weekend. They showed good defensive organisation for long periods and were unfortunate with a late VAR decision, but found it difficult to create clear attacking opportunities and were eventually broken down by a Leandro Trossard goal. Tactically, Newcastle will likely push high, dominate possession, and try to overload West Ham in the wide areas using their attacking fullbacks. West Ham are expected to sit deeper, stay compact, and look to threaten through set pieces or quick counter-attacks. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for West Ham. Arsenal versus Burnley. Arsenal come into this match after a controlled 1-0 victory away at West Ham United. Even though they didn't score heavily, they showed excellent structure, quick ball movement, and complete control of possession. At the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal tend to dominate games from start to finish, especially against sides fighting at the bottom. Burnley managed a hard-fought 2-2 draw against Aston Villa last weekend. They showed real resilience and attacking threat, but defensively, they still struggled whenever Villa applied sustained pressure. Against top possession-based teams like Arsenal, they often find it difficult to stay compact for the full 90 minutes. Tactically, Arsenal will likely dominate the ball, push Burnley deep into their own half, and create chances through quick combinations in and around the box. Burnley will probably sit back in a low block, try to absorb the pressure, and look for opportunities on the counter-attack. I'm predicting a 3-0 win for Arsenal. Bournemouth versus Manchester City. This is one of the standout fixtures of Matchweek 37. Bournemouth come into this match after a strong 1-0 away victory against Fulham. That result demonstrated excellent discipline, defensive organisation, and the ability to grind out a vital win. At home, Bournemouth usually play with much more confidence and energy, and they will need every bit of that to trouble Manchester City. Manchester City, meanwhile, are coming off a dominant 3-0 win over Brentford. They controlled the game from start to finish, created chances with ease, and looked very sharp in attack once again. Their ability to dictate the tempo and suffocate opponents in midfield remains one of their greatest strengths. Tactically, Bournemouth will likely sit in a compact defensive block and look to hit City on the counter-attack quickly when they regain possession. Their biggest challenge will be handling City's constant movement and positional rotations. Manchester City will aim to dominate possession, stretch the pitch, and create overloads in both wide and central areas. I'm expecting an entertaining 2-2 draw. Finally, we have Chelsea versus Tottenham. This London derby is always intense, and this one should be no different. Chelsea come into this match after a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Liverpool. That performance showed real resilience, solid defensive structure, and dangerous moments in attack. At Stamford Bridge, Chelsea usually raise their intensity and play with much more control, especially in big derbies like this. Tottenham, meanwhile, have been inconsistent in recent weeks, often struggling to maintain defensive stability. However, they still carry a significant threat on the counter-attack, particularly when they can exploit spaces behind a high defensive line. Tactically, Chelsea will likely look to dominate possession, press high up the pitch, and build attacks through wide areas and quick midfield combinations. Tottenham may sit slightly deeper, stay compact, and rely on rapid counter-attacks to catch Chelsea on the break. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Chelsea. And there we have it. Those are my predictions for Matchweek 37. Arsenal look set to take another big step towards the title. Which prediction are you most confident about? And which one do you think is completely wrong? Drop your own score predictions in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the Matchweek 38 preview. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goal or no goal 90.